Well, it is 6:30 and we have quorum, so I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting of the Facilities Committee to order. If we could get a roll call, please.
Wilson, Furtado, Greer,
Here.
Hanauer Friedman, Locke,
Here.
Smith,
Here.
Vanek Theranot,
Here.
Lakshin.
Here. Okay. Can I get an approval of the agenda for tonight's meeting? I've got Smith and Locke. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That passes. And then an approval of the minutes from our June 4th meeting. I've got Locke and Greer. All right. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Do we have any public participation for tonight? I don't see anybody, but if anybody sneaks in, we should be good. Any board communications for this evening? Ms. Locke?
About a week or two ago at this point, I've lost track of time while we haven't been meeting, I went and toured the Kankakee Area Jail with Chair Carter and also with Dr. Storr. For the most part, I just want to let everybody here know, as we're the Facilities Committee and we're concerned with our facilities, they have two separate facilities up there. One of them is like Club Med, and one of them meets all legal standards. Now, it just so happens that of our 70 people, approximately 70 people there, 50 are in the jail that meets all standards, and 20 are in the Club Med. So when we've been hearing complaints, it's obviously why. What I'm excited about, after we toured our jail here, our new facility here, the facility in Kankakee that's less desirable has 0 rec spaces, indoor or outdoor, 0 rec space. Even Club Med up there only has indoor rec. So I'm very excited that our people, when we bring them back, the ones we can, that they'll have indoor and outdoor rec space. And I'm very thankful to everybody who's been involved in the planning of that, because it will make a world of difference to the people in our custody.
Thank you for the fill-in. I didn't know that that meets legal standards not to have rec space, so. Any other communications? All right, moving on to new business. We have an update on ITB 2022-008 County Plaza Renovation Project with Bailey Edward Design and Brewer and Russo.
Good evening. Brian Russo could not join us this evening due to a prior engagement. I don't know that we have any photos. Really, we've reached substantial completion. Did we have photos?
They're in their packet.
Yeah, we
Okay.
do have some nice-looking ones in the packet here.
Great. Great. So photos, and I know that a few of the elected officials or department heads have been through the building and looked at their spaces, looked at some of the public spaces, so, which kind of brings us, I think there's some change orders that we're looking at this evening as well, related to some desires and needs in the building.
Yeah. So in terms of status, where we're at, substantial completion was turned in and completed. They are working very hard to get out of the building. Blinds are supposed to be delivered at the end of this week. It'll take them probably 2 to 3 weeks to install those blinds. As you can imagine, with all those windows, it's a lot. They are still busy cleaning. They're also busy fixing little blemishes and spots on walls and doors and pieces around the building. So they've got work that continues to go on. There are not many. It's very difficult right now to actually get painters. So they had to pull off all their painters because they're finishing up at the schools here in town. So that school is open next week. So we'll get painters back next Friday, I believe. But things are progressing. We do have some change orders that we'll talk about in a second. We've got some other things that have come up that we're going to have to take a look at, and then they're a bit unknowns yet. Of the 38 drains, I think, in the upper parking deck, we did repair 4, but it looks like we're going to have to repair and go after all of them, we believe, on the upper deck. We're having Western Waterproofing come back, talking with them, get our experts out here. We're still getting leaks down into the lower level, and we need to determine how that's happening. We also have another issue with the lower level. We've got 2 breaks in drain lines to allow the rain to, head on out to the sewer. So we've got to get those opened up and repair those 2. We've had Davis Houck Plumbing come out and put cameras down so we can see exactly what's going on and causing the water backup and problems. So I think once we get those repaired, we've got one price for one of the line repairs, we're waiting on another. So anyway, a lot of work still to be done over there. You want to talk about change orders?
Oh, sorry, does anybody have any questions on the pictures you can, or any of the other updates in here before we go into change orders? Dr. Furtado?
Is there a MBE, WBE report for them?
Not from them. It'll be at the next meeting.
Hasn't it going to be at the next meeting for a while now?
Actually,
Or was it horror?
they did turn one for June. We did not get the one for July yet.
Okay.
I think we had the June numbers. Were they at the June facilities meeting, or were they at the, okay, it's been a while. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I got to remember that we didn't have a meeting in July.
Sorry.
go ahead.
No, we wouldn't have gotten the June numbers at the June meeting. We didn't have a meeting in July. So if there are June numbers, we do not indeed have the June numbers. Because we would not, there's no way we could have had the June numbers at the June meeting. We haven't met since then. So I would like the June numbers. Okay, thank you.
You'll get them?
Any other questions before change orders? Comments? It's looking really nice in the photos here. I know that you don't have them in front of you, but they are nice, trust me. Okay, so we can go into discussion and approval of change orders for ITB 2022-008 County Plaza renovation project. These are change orders 55, 56, 57, 58, and 59 on pages 20 through 26.
So the first one, and I apologize, Dana, you may have to help me with this one. There's about 10 links of copper piping that the county has requested.
Yeah, there's a water line that goes around the outside of the upper deck that needs to be repaired so that we can utilize it. With the waterproofing that's been put on the deck, we have to clean the deck after every winter and get the salt and grime off so it doesn't do damage. So we've asked them, because they can get at a greater discount the water piping, that we can get it and we'll install it. So they have agreed to purchase it. It's part of the building. So, but we'll do the installation once they are done.
I think we can just go through all of them, yeah.
Okay, I was going to say, do we want to
Unless anybody wants to call any one of them out.
Okay.
Okay,
The 56 is to install and program the keyed headlight tags for the sheriff's department. They will go in the headlights of the cruisers and then open up the security gate into their area.
That's for both purchase as well as the installation.
And
They're
install.
are a little bit more expensive, obviously, than a card or a key fob. Sheriff wants to be able just to drive through.
And then change order 57 is to install a light fixture in one of the IT closets and some ventilation in the equipment room.
Yeah, when we did our tours with IT and some other department heads, IT noticed that there's no ventilation in that particular closet. So we're having to tie over from the HVAC system. So that's, the light and bringing electricity is, and that are, a little pricey, but that's what happens when you're doing that kind of work and the building's virtually done, so.
Sorry. 58 is to add additional outlets and data outlets on the 5th floor in the IT, and there's some select IT offices that I think only had one fiber. and
Again,
needed
during our
two.
walkthrough, IT had requested 2 outlets, and we didn't catch that on the plans, and so we're having to come back and install 8 in 8 different offices on the 5th floor, and 2 more down on the 2nd floor for them in their other space.
And then 59 is the material to, again, it's material that's going to be provided to the county so the county can install the charger for the electric car station.
Yeah, it's the conduit. So early on, once it was known that we needed to provide EV charging locations down underneath, we had asked earlier in the process to at least put some conduit lines through the wall for us. And based on us taking a look at the work, we've asked them now to take it from that point, take them all the way into the electric cabinet, and leave a pull line, and we'll have the wires pulled again after the project's over. We're also buying the EV stations, so we'll get those hooked up once the project's finally complete.
Any questions on any of these?
Do we anticipate many more change orders, or do you think we're about near done?
Yeah, we hope to be done very soon. We anticipate some more. I just covered those briefly. It's the drains,
Oh, yeah, okay.
both on the top deck and the lower deck. And we just got to wait and see what turns out with that. We're hopeful to have a meeting and have some direction. It'll be kind of an all-parties meeting, hopefully next week, with Ron Russo, Bailey Edwards, our structural engineer, and our GHR, our other engineers, kind of put our heads together, as well as Western. Put our heads together. We've got about 8 or 10 options that have been thrown around, and we just kind of need to
So that
get
was
a direction and make a plan.
I guess it was a better way to put it. That's really it, that's kind of on your radar screen? Okay. So, I mean, by my math, that's only 6.6% change order. Does it seem about right to y'all? On a renovation, that's really good. I mean, to be blunt, like, that's good. I mean, we didn't even come close to the 10%, so congrats to everybody who works on this.
Oh, we're not done yet.
All right.
All right, so if I could get a motion to approve those change orders, moved by Ellie Hanauer Friedman, seconded by Beth. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, thank you. Next up is an update on ITB 2023-005, the County Plaza Elevator Renovation Project. So stay up here.
Sorry. So we did have another conversation with our elevator contractor, Otis, this afternoon. We've pushed to try and get them on site. Today, they did tell us they would be on site within the week to start demolition. Probably not Monday, but she was like, definitely Tuesday. I let her know that we just need to know so we can go and lock the building. We did send a letter to Otis 2 weeks ago, sharing with them our concerns that they were not going to maintain the schedule that they had put in their bid. So she did send a schedule over, and I apologize. She sent it over just this afternoon, and I've been traveling today, so I have not had a chance to read it, but I think I sent one to Dana. So, but I think they are going to attempt to do that, but we'll keep pushing them.
Dana, you had more info on that, or?
Talk a little bit more. So I do appreciate, I pushed, and Bailey Edwards very willing and complied, and were right in step with us by sending a pretty rough letter to him of our frustration about the schedule from day one, and laid out the problems as we saw it for the past year that they had not met. So a week ago, we asked for a meeting with not just the person that was we've been working with, but some management personnel that oversaw this position. So we wanted some affirmation, basically, that they indeed were interested in getting our project moving and getting it done. They have delivered to the site all the materials. They're in little small storage units outside. And the notice that we received today basically said they're going to start the week of the 12th. Hopefully it's Tuesday and not Wednesday or Thursday. They're still claiming 14 weeks. Their crew is a two-man crew doing all this work. That's a concern of ours, but we keep pressing on that. They've also, with this communication, said basically that they're going to do their best to try and get a second crew. And they'll start on elevators 1 and 2. Got to do one at a time, but those are our public elevators. So with that, I think they can get elevator 1 done in 12 weeks. It's smaller than the other one. That's the only reason I can come up with. They came up with 14 and 12. Other than that, they're trying to make us feel better. But they've come back with estimates and timeframes, so we feel better about that. But we'll keep pushing them. But look forward to getting them started. The one elevator that is working is only working on I think every other day and only for a few hours a day. I hope they get to enjoy that and enjoy walking the stairs, as all of our workers and staff have had to do through most of this project. So anyway, that's our update with Otis.
What is the final, does it have an estimated final date? I'm trying to do the math in my head, but if you have it in front of you.
Elevator 3 is November. Elevator, well, it's unknown yet because they've saved February 17th and they put down May 12th, but they're wanting to start earlier than that. So I'm not sure they had a clear path on this note back to us based upon our telephone conversation. So, but at least we'll get them here and get them started.
Ellie?
So at what point can the county start moving, if not people, things over there, assuming they stick to this elevator schedule?
So if their schedule is accurate, based upon this, sometime the week of November 25th, when the number 3 elevator, the large one, is complete, we'll be able to start moving furniture and things into the building. We can get the sheriff's street crew moved in earlier. Once we get computers and things hooked up so that our access control systems for the building, the security video systems are up and working, then we can start relocating the sheriff's street folks. We don't need an elevator for that. That's all on one floor. It's the lower level. You come in from the north side of the building, and so we can get them moved in fairly easily. There's a lot to do to do that, but it can happen earlier. But the 25th, the week of the 25th, we can start moving things upstairs.
Stephanie?
So I know with elevators, some of it is like the equipment, but it sounds like that's no longer the problem. Does this contract not have any sort of like liquidated or delayed damages clause to it?
No. We did not build anything into that. We've not experienced. This is a new issue for us.
So do county contracts just in general don't have liquidated damages?
Not really.
All right, 100%, I think that's something that we need to look into. I've never heard of that on a public contract before, so that's super interesting. But just all my projects at the parks, I mean, once that drop date, you know what I mean? Like, we started getting money, you know what I'm saying? And like, there was a couple of projects that I was part of that we got real money. So I do think that that's something that we should, because what's their incentive? Because I bet a lot of their other contracts have it, and that's why they're there and not here, to be honest with you. So like, I understand, like, usually those have a clause, like if you can't get the equipment, that's not on the contractor. But if they're not hitting deadlines because they're not hitting deadlines, like in the future, man, we've got to have a liquidated damages clause in our contracts. Right?
Yeah, we can take a look at that. We'll get our legal counsel involved and, look to write up something that be included with our bid contracts. I will say, after talking to numerous contractors, everyone dislikes the elevator folks. Top to bottom, it's, delay, always delays with the elevators. So,
Beth?
So how much would it cost to train one of our employees to be an elevator repair person? Because at this point, I'm pretty sure we could probably grow our own and still be done before them.
Stephanie?
So just to give you a sense of it, at least in the unionized side of elevator, it is harder to get into the elevator operating engineers, whatever they are called, union than it is to get into Harvard. Their acceptance rates, they're like a very teeny tiny. Yeah. So like it would, and it's a 5-year apprenticeship. So maybe for our 2040 project, we would be, but it is a, I'm trying to think of a way not to call them the mafia of construction.
How about the American Medical Association of,
Is this one being recorded? No, I do remember that. Yeah. I remember that stat from when we were talking about initially getting started on the elevator project here, and I'd imagine that's probably a lot of the reason why it's a 2-person crew and why it's taking so long for the crew to be here is that there just are not a lot of people who have that qualification. But any other questions, comments, concerns? All right. Thank you. Well, you might as well stay up because we got another one. Final update on the courthouse parking lot access control project.
So that one has also reached substantial completion. And I believe we are waiting on the equipment or the parts that they still owe us for attic stock. And then we can sign that final pay app, which I think is only retainage.
We did get the replacement arm. and those nylon nuts for the breakaway arm.
And then, okay.
We do have them.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Well, then, I think we're very close to wrapping that one up.
Well, I drove by on the way here today, saw the little motorcycle lines and from the to the direction I approached, that's what I could see. But I know the arm is in place and seeing all that. And you said there's still people who are managing to sneak in, or
We've only had 2 people reported that snuck into the parking lot. They got right behind another vehicle and managed to get in. We reached out to the sub to talk to them about the sensitivity of the arm and the delay to see if that could be shortened just a touch, maybe a second. And so that's been done. So I haven't had any reports in 2-3 weeks now of somebody sneaking in.
that's good to hear.
And nobody else has, bothered to run into it yet. So that'll happen at some point, but it's an easy breakaway and easy fix, providing the arm isn't damaged beyond repair.
Any questions on this one? All right, thank you. Moving on to discussion and approval of change orders for ITB 2022-009, Satellite Jail Consolidation Project. Pages 40, oh, sorry? He's got photos too. There are photos too, that's it. Oh, I crossed it off early, I'm sorry. We got the July 2024 photos attached. So we've got those in our packet too, starting on page 27, and looks like they're popping up behind me here.
Hello. So, progress is going pretty well still. They're wrapping up a lot of the work in the south pod. Right now, we're starting in the north. This is the security station in the north pod, and a small nurses station that is directly outside of that security pod. So just a view looking into one of the day rooms. This is one of the medical isolation cells with its separate vestibule. There's a view of the nurses station that is in the medical wing. Cabinets are all installed. This is a view from one of the exam rooms, also in the medical wing, just outside where we were just at. More day rooms, you can see that furniture has all been installed. Everything is being protected right now while construction is still going on, but those wrappings will be removed when everything's complete. This is a security station in the south pod. Currently, there's a lot of programming going on for locks and cameras. Again, more views into different day rooms. Here's a view of a typical cell, one of the double cells. Again, more day room views. This is the main corridor that this direction we're looking towards the connection to the existing jail. This is a view of the staff break room, just off of that corridor. And again, the main corridor looking the other direction. They just recently started putting the flooring down last week in the main corridor. It's a view of the corridor in the medical wing. Again, another day room. This is the extension of the paving off to the north of the building. and a view of the entrance to the east side of the addition. You can see some of the security fencing as well along there, and more of the security fencing connecting to the extended pavement. This is for the emergency egress fencing. And that looks like the end of the photos.
Ellie?
Just curious, why is the flooring different in the medical spaces?
So the the flooring in the day rooms and everywhere else is an epoxy flooring that is meant to hold up to a lot more abuse. The thought behind the medical wing was to have it a little bit more of a doctor's office feel, for lack of a better term. Just to have a little bit different look to it.
Jen?
Would the wooden floor there also be maybe a little bit softer too, for if somebody is maybe actively in the DTs and might fall and convulse and hit their head?
Yeah, it's a vinyl flooring, and yes, it is a bit softer than the epoxy flooring.
Any other questions, comments on these? Dana, did you have anything to add? Okay. Then now we can move on to the discussion and approval of those change orders. ITB 2022-009 Satellite Jail Consolidation Project. We have change order 54 and a composite of all the change orders to date, which thank you for that. That was interesting to look at.
So change order number 54 is to provide interchangeable cores. These are the key cylinders for the existing door locks inside the existing jail. Those locks are original and old, and we wanted to key those to be the same as the existing or the new addition. So the price here is for $8,130.15. That is for the material, and the installation of those cores will be by the owner.
Any questions on that? Can I get a motion to approve change order number 54 for, okay, we have Smith and Locke. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, thank you. Okay, so then we have the distributed PJ Herb Minority Employment Report for April, May, and June?
No.
This is just June, because we did get April and May in June. Yeah,
This is from their, they just turned in their June pay app on the 24th of July. I just got that today, so.
yeah, when you were talking about the other one before, I went back and looked, and that's what I was thinking of was the PJ Herb, and that's what we had, yeah. Okay. Do you have a question?
Yeah, so math. First of all, just major, I really like this, looking at the subcontractors and just major props that like, I mean, a lot of times on a job like this, you'll see like sort of all the minority or all the women on one sub, and that's not the case. It's pretty evenly spread, and that's awesome. I do think, though, that maybe something's gone a little teeny bit awry with the calculations. As much as I'd love to believe that 61% of the employees were minority, they're just not. So, like, if you look at it, something's happened, and it's, I mean, the percent is well within, like, the goal that we had and everything like that, but it's just, this is not 61%. So, it looks like if you follow the overall application, the numbers for non-minority are just a little teeny bit off, right? Just, it's a few here, like, Up there, it's 50674 compared to 50375, and that just might, depend on the day you look at it. But then when you come across, it's 94 non-minority employees, which is about 11%, 12%, which is the percentage of hours they worked, and that makes sense. But then the number is 1,301, or 351.5. So somehow, that's not the right number, like those,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
so that's, because when I saw 61, I was like, oh no, it
I think
dropped
they
to
got a digit missed in there.
something, because I was
Or a
like,
point.
oh no, it dropped
Yeah.
to 6.1%. And then I was like, oh no, it says 61%. And I was like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. So if next time we could get that worked out, but with that weirdo cell thing, Excel thing, besides that, like, these numbers they're what we asked for, right? And again, the fact that they're spread out over all the contractors, like the subs, is props. Like, that is not always the case. There was a few that, didn't have any, but just overall, that spread is really nice. So, congrats.
Any other questions here? Ellie?
I would just point out the spread is a little less nice for the females. Which we knew, right? Yeah, but I'm curious because it's like 26%, which seems really high, or 0.
Oh, go ahead.
I don't know enough about each of these subs. There are just some trades that literally have no women. And the national average for women in the trades, and let me be clear, I'm not even talking like unionized, non-unionized, just trades, has not ever gone much above 3.3%. And there's some trades that, like, there might in the state of Illinois be 5 women type of situation. So we'd have to like look at each of these, do you know what I mean, subs, to know what they do. This is terrible and not acceptable in society, but actually this number for women is just the fact that we even have, like, our current month is 9% is like 3 times the national average. So, it's an indictment of society, but in terms of our contractors, it's actually pretty good, which is reality.
That's true. Any other questions, comments on here? I appreciate the numbers. I know that I've talked a little bit with Emily from the Labor Committee about, now that we've gone through a year with the PLA in place, where from here, how do we adjust? We're talking about some things with Michelle Jett from administration, so hopefully we'll have an update on that soon, like what we plan or what we think we could add to do better. Stephanie?
I think it's always important to think about what we can do better. And just to remind everybody, we've invested in other things. Like, we've invested $200K in a pre-apprenticeship program, which is, from my understanding, is doing amazing stuff. And I think sometime we'll get a report on that. But I really genuinely think we have a good story to tell, and we should tell it. The one thing that I wish we had done, and that I really want us to do next time, is track those veteran numbers. And that was something we should have done. But besides that, it's like, we've got a really decent story to tell, both on the subs, the actual contractors, and on the labor hours. And the labor hours was the big concern, right? We wanted to get people working, and we did. And we should be really proud of it. And I know it's been a heavy lift, and I feel like I've been a broken record about it. And I'm just choosing to believe then we get the Born Russo numbers. They're going to be they're going to continue the pattern they had. But this is something we as a committee should be really proud of, and the staff and the contractors should be really proud of. I'm not just saying this. I think it's exciting.
All right. We've got a discussion of the courthouse boiler burner replacement project, ITB 2024-003. This is rebid documentation and drawings. It's a capital asset fund project. Chris, you were going to speak to this one?
Yes. We had the bid opening for this project, and unfortunately, it only turned out 2 bids. One of them was non-compliant with the bid docs, so we had to toss that one, only leaving us 1 bid. So if you look on the very back, there's a new schedule for the rebidding. GHR has been in communication with other contractors that we thought were going to bid, and they're pretty confident they're going to bid this next go-around. I've actually had conversations with a couple of contractors that I thought was going to bid and claim they're going to bid for this time. So hopefully we'll see 3 more along with the one that we've already got. So that's kind of where we're at. Yes.
Just out of curiosity, could the one that bid rebid? Or do they just stand by, I just am curious about process. Or do they just stand by their original bid?
No, process is, it was a no bid by all. We chose to, in fact, we've no comment or published any of it. We're rebidding, told everybody up front that we'd rebid. That's one of the reasons you've not seen any bid price. We didn't want to give that away to anybody. The company, actually, all 3 companies that originally picked up information, including the 2 that bid, all 3 now are very interested in bidding this go-around. And, we've asked GHR to, reach out to people. The issue we have a little bit with the project is that you can't be a newbie to do this work. You've got to have a proven record of doing a good job with a similar project, and then provide backup information that you've done that before. So.
With that being said, do you know if there's any way, or is there any way to tell us if there have been any outreach to minority-owned, woman-owned, any of those on this? Or are there contractors even in the field that are within those categories?
Sorry. I know that GHR is, because I brought it up with them, trying to do that. I don't know what the status is of contractors in this county or close by that are minority-owned and have done this work before. Again, that's spelled out in the bid document. So you just can't be a plumber to do this work. We've got to have these boilers working, or we don't have a courthouse. So.
No, I get it. I was just curious on that one, not knowing myself what even the amount of availability is in the county for that kind of project. So, any questions, comments, concerns on the boiler project? Okay, well, I have no other business. I have our next meeting listed for September 3rd, 2024 at 6:30. The items to be placed on the consent agenda are 5, 6, I'm doing my Roman numerals, 6B, 6F. Those are the only 2, right? Yep, that's all I see. Okay. And then with that being said, we are adjourned at 7:14. Thank you all.